We've got a new challenge that we've got going on for the start of 2022. Called Project 50, and what it is, it's 7 rules to adhere to for 50 days. So we decided, we're just gonna give it a whirl. We're gonna run through these 7 rules. The goal is to inform those of us that are like, I'm up for a challenge, new year, new me. So rule number 1, wake up before 8 a.m. but still get 6 hours of sleep and try to maintain a consistent bedtime routine with enough sleep. Make this rule fit to your individual needs. So fun fact about this first one, I started the challenge January 2nd of 2022. I was still traveling on the 1st. I decided the goal was like, all right, January 2nd, I locked my brain. I was like, that's the date where I'm starting Project 50. I was at the airport till about 2 a.m. and then I had to drive an extra 30 minutes, plus back to get to my apartment in Denver. Long story short, didn't get to bed. So I got back to my apartment at 3 a.m. and I didn't get to bed till 5 a.m. And this was 5 a.m. as of January 2nd. And in my head, I'm like, I'm supposed to start the challenge today. What am I supposed to do? Should I just push it back off to start at January 3rd? Whatever. So of course, for this first rule, wake up before 8 a.m., that would have been impossible. That means I would have got 3 hours of sleep on the first day. I don't think that would have been smart. I would have been exhausted for the rest of the day. So I said, cool, I'm gonna get 6 hours of sleep minimum, and that's how I'm gonna accomplish this first rule. And so got 6 hours, set my alarm for 6 hours from there, woke up at 11, and then boom, I accomplished rule number 1. Rule number 2. Do your morning routine. Do your morning routine. Do your morning routine 1 hour, no distractions by your phone, no distractions by social media. If enough time, try to incorporate meditation, go for a walk, do deep thinking, mentally prepare for your day. When it comes to my morning routine, I've decided instead of surfing through TikTok and Instagram for the first 30 to 45 minutes to wake up, which cuts into a whole 45 minutes that I could have been doing something way more productive. I have decided that the first hour within my morning, it's gonna be 100% diving into my spiritual disciplines. So ensuring that I get my morning devotional done, my journaling done, my prayer done, my getting mentally prepared for what's happening in the day, looking at all my events within the day, making sure that everything is aligned, that I've got all my projects that are due, that are high priority, high urgency in there, and just kind of getting set up mentally before the day. And so that's how I kind of been doing it for the last 6 days, and it's been working out. It's a little challenging because I do have a habit of even opening up the TikTok app just out of habit, and I'm like, oh, I gotta shut this off. So it's been a little bit of a tweak, but I dig it so far. It's been helpful. So rule number 3, exercise for 1 hour a day. Exercise based on fitness level, including walking, stretching, running, yoga, bike, gym, etc. So I love this one. As most of you guys know, I absolutely thrive when it comes to exercise. It's part of my routine. I don't even have to think twice on, do I feel motivated to go to the gym? And that's not saying anything to be cocky, but it's just, I've been doing it now for 15 plus years. I've been going to the gym. It's part of my lifestyle. So I have to go to the gym minimum 4 days a week. Prime time is 5 to 6 though. That's when I'm working at my absolute best, and I love it. So for 1 hour, I literally clock it. I just, in my phone, I'm like, all right, timer, let's go, hour minimum at the gym. And what I do is I do cardio. 5 days a week, I'm doing 1 mile of cardio, whether it's walking, jogging, whatever the case is. Instead of hitting 7 days a week of muscle groups, I have strategically put in there 2 rest days that are just walking days, whether it's walking outside, getting some fresh air, walking on the treadmill, something like that. Rule number 4, read 10 pages a day. Read something motivational, psychological, or business related books. Educational books count also. This one I really, really value just because I'm a big fan of Audible, but I find that I've got a very distracted brain, and I might listen to a book and retain X amount of tips because I'm thinking about 12 other things. I'm at the gym, I'm doing a lot. So what I like about actually physically reading a book is that it allows me to actually retain the information a lot longer than listening to it. So if I have to like reread a page because I get distracted, which happens quite frequently, I dig that. But also when it comes to reading actual books, I've got so many books that I've been procrastinating on that I just keep buying. I go to a bookstore and I'm like, I want to buy this book, I'm gonna read this book, and I don't, because I'm like, I'm just gonna pick up Audible because it's faster. Because of this specific rule and having to read 10 pages a day, I love it. I've actually read from a book that's been sitting on my desk now for over like 6 months. I've actually read close to, I think, 30 or 40 pages out of it. I rotate between 3 different books, depends on my mood. If I'm like, I want something inspirational on leadership, then I'll read a leadership book. I'm currently reading The Diary of Anne Frank, which I think is really cool. Educational, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. There we go. So those are the top 3 books that I'm currently just heavy rotation. And sometimes if my brain is incredibly distracted, I'll sometimes be reading a book and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm just not feeling it. And typically I just give up and start doing something else. But because I have to stick and accomplish this rule, I kid you not, I'm just being honest here, I've read like 3 pages from one book, 3 pages from another book, 3 pages from another book, you know, a couple pages, half pages in between there, just so I can say that I can knock this out of my to-do list. Again, that's only happened one time this week thus far, and that was because I procrastinated to end this specific rule at like 11 o'clock at night, where I was not wanting to read anything, but I did it because it's part of the challenge. So I found that my sweet spot personally for me, again, it might be different for other people, I can't read past 5 p.m. Like I physically don't know how to read anymore. My brain just goes, is this Chinese? I can't read it. No, I literally don't feel any desire to read after 5 p.m. because I'm exhausted. So I found that if I do this in the morning or for like a lunch break, love it. It's one of my favorite rules, but after 5 p.m. it becomes such a burden. So that's kind of what I found over the last 6 days. And rule number 5, this is another challenging one for me thus far, but we're pushing through. Dedicate 1 hour towards a new skill. Prepare goals and anticipated skills before the challenge starts. So have a prep phase before the challenge. So no distractions, high concentration while you're doing this. So I found that there are a couple core areas that I definitely want to spend a lot of time learning over this challenge. One is the guitar. I want to go through and I want to have an excuse each day to pick up the guitar and learn some new songs, learn more about music theory, or I'm taking currently a YouTube course. Shout out to Matt Diavella. And he's got a really phenomenal course on just how to build your YouTube channel. So that's another way of learning a new skill. And then lastly, it is masterclass. So just learning new things through masterclass. Negotiation techniques are one of my favorite ones. Heck, even cooking classes are on masterclass too. That one's been for sure challenging, and just being able to figure out exactly what time of the day I want to spend time doing my dedicated skill. And again, I found that my sweet spot personally, and this is just speaking for me, I need to do this core dedicating time for a skill when it comes to like learning something earlier, like before 5 p.m., whether it's in the morning or for a lunch break, because if it's after 5 p.m., it definitely becomes more so as a burden in my eyes, and it's not as enjoyable. I'm like, this feels like I just have to do this. This is like forced work versus something that I'm passionate about, and those are 3 areas that I'm really passionate about. Rule number 6, follow a healthy diet. Follow a healthy diet. Following a diet of your choice, meaning no alcohol, no soft drinks, and generally less sugar, for example. Also drinking enough water. Those of us that know, I've been very much big into the jug club. I have an entire gallon water jug, and that thing follows me literally everywhere that I go. It's been almost like 6 months that I've been on the jug club program, and it's been beneficial. The diet. I am committed to losing body fat. I am committed. I've said this now. I'm about to be 29 years young. And I'm telling you right now, this has been the hardest discipline, the hardest habit, the hardest lifestyle shift for me has been my diet. This is actually the whole point of doing Project 50 for me. Everything else is a bonus. But the diet, I've just needed self-accountability and just help, and it's been something that just has not stuck to the point where I'm happy, okay? And so I am very excited to have 50 whole days to kind of just cleanse the system. And my hope, and what I've done research on and listened to a lot of fitness influencers speak on, is that it is harder to get in shape, but it's easy to maintain that shape. Okay, so it's harder to get to the shape that you want to get to because it just takes time and it takes discipline and it takes patience. So once I get to the prime level where I feel pretty good about my body and I feel comfortable and confident being in a bathing suit, and I feel comfortable and confident in wearing specific articles of clothing, right? Like I have a tendency to, and this is getting real hot and personal and I apologize, but yeah, I'm not happy with super tight clothing because it highlights areas of my body where I'm just like, ew, that's not cool. But I think I've decided no more of that. No more of that. I can't have that hinder my confidence. I can't have that hinder how I look at myself and how I appreciate myself. So I'm gonna get to the point where I'm just like very proud of what I look like in front of a mirror, okay? And I'm gonna go through, and after that, just maintain. I'm gonna put in the time, I'm gonna put in the discipline, and then we're gonna maintain and live a pretty sick lifestyle. So that's the goal and that's the hope of this. And again, it's just disciplining the mind here when it comes to tracking and following a set habit. So the diet, and I hate the word diet because it has such negative connotations to it. Diet. Everyone goes on diets. Everyone goes on January diets. But I really want this to be something that is just a great journey. Like I want to enjoy the process behind getting to a shape that I'm excited about. And I think I've always been so caught up in just the destination that I really do want to spend some time really enjoying the journey to get there. So what I mean by that is cooking. I usually say that I hate cooking, and that's because I am not patient. I'd rather just DoorDash something, #Chipotle, and be done with it. Not have to do all the dishes. But there's something kind of enjoyable when it comes to cooking. I've learned that this week. I'm like, it's fun looking at new recipes, cooking things. I don't want to rely on my partner to have to cook all my meals. I want to be able to bring something to the table. So I want to get into the habit of knowing how to cook. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a nice hobby outside of work. But rule number 7, the last one here, track your daily progress in a journal. Write down your positive and negative experiences and what you've learned and where you can improve. So for that, there's 2 ways that I'm kind of tracking things. Number 1, I'm tracking things through this fancy, I don't know if you can see this, it's a calendar. And this calendar I'm looking at this every single day. I've got this right next to my bed, where every single day I'm tracking the progress and how we're doing on this challenge. So we are not going to bed until we've hit all 7 of these rules consistently. And the way that we're tracking daily progress is by journaling. It's leathered. Smells nice. And it's Italian leather to be exact. But yeah, we've been tracking our progress here. Which I really, really dig. And I'll tell you right now, if I forget to do this over the course of the day, and I'm stuck doing this right before bed when I'm exhausted and sleepy, my journal entries are very just short. This is how I felt, this is my experience, yada yada. But it's been cool to kind of just see overall how I've been feeling. I've been tracking and kind of just letting people know how I'm feeling. Like, yeah, yesterday I got 6 hours of sleep and I was not a happy camper because of it. I literally wrote down, do your morning routine, and I wrote down in here as one of the experiences behind doing my morning routine, I wrote down, I was exhausted. This morning routine was not enjoyable. I literally said that, not enjoyable. Exercise, I wrote down exercise for 1 hour, check. Arm day, not the best I wrote, not the best workout, was tired. That's all. That's the experience. So yeah, so I'm kind of just like writing down, journaling how I'm feeling, and keeping up with each day. I can tell you right now, today's journal entry is gonna be sweet because I felt really good. I actually got 9 hours of sleep last night. Thank you, Jesus. So the sleep factor was helpful in today's overall day and emotions and vibes. That is Project 50. 50 whole days, discipline the mind, state of mind kind of challenge. I'm very excited for this. I'll post a couple cute little snippets via TikTok, but if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button, give me a cute little like, write down a cute little comment if you'd like on any tips, any rules that piqued your interest that you might be like, hey, I'm not gonna do the challenge, but I definitely wanna hit on reading 10 pages a day or starting a new challenge or starting a new skill, whatever the case is. But I'd love to hear your thoughts and looking forward to seeing you for the next video. But until then, hasta luego.